Hex. Okay, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
nice to meet you, Akila. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we are starting a new episode of High Social, and I got here my pretty lady. Her name is Hexen. Whoa, that is a whole story behind your name, right? We're
Yeah,
gonna go through it.
Yeah.
But before, thank you guys for following our podcast. I really appreciate you guys for showing up and supporting us and social media. For those who don't know, we are on YouTube. We are on Spotify, although I do really need to update our episodes on Spotify because we're doing episodes like about 3 a week. So it's been crazy at the moment. Luckily, and obviously Instagram, TikTok. So make sure you like, subscribe, and follow everywhere. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And today I'm with someone super interesting that I cannot wait to hear about what she does, about her skills, about what she thinks. Also, good. Hex. Wait, you said the other way to pronounce your name. I forgot.
贺星.
Huxing.
Yeah.
Huxing.
贺星.
Huxing. Okay, am I saying right?
It's pretty close. It's not easy. Like Chinese is not an easy language. So
Not at all.
it's not.
Not at all. I always wanted to learn Chinese, but it's really hard language.
It's not the same language system, but yeah, you're doing perfect in English already. So you're
Ni hao.
natural. Ni hao. Yeah. See, that one's perfect.
Wow, nice. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But then I can see in your social media you have a different name, all right? So Hinxin,
贺星.
Huxin, and then Hexen.
Hex. Yeah. Like these days, I go by my nickname Hex. Like I
Hex.
put Hex on you. Yeah. Yeah. That kind of, and I thought that's so edgy and cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I like it. So is it common? Because I've met a lot of, because I've lived abroad a lot, and
Yeah.
I traveled a lot, like over like 35 countries. One thing that I've noticed is like a lot of people from China, they have a Chinese name and they have an English
Yeah.
name. Is that very common?
Very common for international students. I think the main reason is just to make their life easier, because in an English speaking country, like you don't want. Yeah, I think it's a very common thing for Chinese students to pick up a totally different English name for them to live their life. But for me, I was just like procrastinating because I spent so much time trying to pick up a good English name, but I spent so much time on it until my tutor at the time just started calling me Hexen, and I thought, that sounds pretty like crispy. Yeah, I'll just take it. I'll just use Hexen. Yeah, sounds cool.
Oh my God, that explains a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've noticed is studying abroad, and even in Australia, I've met a lot of Chinese women, and
Yeah.
they all have a non-Chinese name, like an English name.
Yeah.
What is the process? Why do you need an English name, and how do you get it?
I think most of I can't speak for every single Chinese student, but I think most of the time they just want others to have trouble trying to pronounce their proper English name. So it is really just a convenience for the local people here.
Right.
Because, for example, I have a friend. I have a friend in uni. Her name is Qing, which spells as Qing, and she's a girl. She's a sweet, lovely girl. And people there, as soon as they saw her Chinese name, they call her King, which is kind of weird. So I guess in similar situations, people will prefer to pick up an English name just to make both parties' lives easier.
Right. And what is the process? Do you do that during high school? When does that happen?
They just, I think, as soon as they feel like they need to use it, like maybe in high school before they go abroad, if they talk to foreign friends to practice English, they probably already start picking an English name. And the process, there really is no process. People I guess they just look for whatever names that sound cool to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had a problem with, because it's still going to be a name that is stuck with you for a long time. And I don't, when trying to pick an English name, I didn't want a name that is like old fashioned or like too weird. So that's why I spent forever trying to pick an English name. And eventually I just didn't go with an English name.
Well, so you said your tutor was helping you, right?
Yeah, she just like saw my name and started calling me Hexen.
Right. Is that a website? Like, hey guys, maybe you're talking to your friends at school. Oh, the website has some cool English names you can choose from. Is that a thing?
I think, I guess, I feel most Chinese students, they just watch American drama or like British drama, and they'd be like, oh, that name, Sophia, that's cool.
Nice.
Oh, Selena, oh, that's a cool name. I'll use that. I'll take that. I think that's how most of them come up with their names.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So now that we went through the science behind your name, tell me a little bit about you. When I saw you, let me just say, I was searching, like I like K-pop.
Oh.
I don't know if I told you, I like K-pop. And I always watch people dancing in Sydney in the Darling Harbour.
Yes.
And one day I put a location wise, and I was checking, and I saw you, and I saw your profile. For some reason, your profile came up, and I started seeing your profile, and I was like, oh, she does cool stuff. I like how she looks. She's you do modeling as well, right?
Yeah.
And let me message her. Maybe she will answer. And you answered, and I was like so happy, right? But yeah, Hex, tell us a little bit more about you, about what you do, what you like doing, etc.
Well, actually, I didn't know that's how you found me on Instagram. Yeah, I do. I think I've been dancing K-pop as a hobby for quite a few years. That's how I met most of my close friends. So there's a dance studio in city called Crossover Dance Studio, and initially I went there to just like start learn all kinds of like street dancing, like whacking. I even did a little bit of like locking and popping, until
Nice.
like one day I dropped in a K-pop, a Kill This Love by Blackpink. I dropped in that class, and then we did like a performance together. And that's how I found that, oh my God, people that doing K-pop cover dance are like super fun to hang out with. So we just like keep hanging out ever since then. And I just like stopped doing street dancing and only do like K-pop dancing as a way to just like, put up a project with your friends, like teamwork. And yeah, I've been doing K-pop cover dance, like not seriously, but maybe 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And me and my friends, the friends that we met through K-pop, we actually hang out almost every week. We just like go to a Korean restaurant in city, and we just like drink soju, eat Korean barbecue, and talk about K-pop and life now, because we're like the closest friends now. Yeah.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. I think it's something that grew so fast. And I'll tell you, I'm from Brazil.
Yeah.
And K-pop in Brazil is crazy.
Wow.
Like people are obsessed with these boy bands from Korea. There's some ones from China as well, right? Getting popular. There's a lot of like people in the scene, in the K-pop scene from China as well, right?
Yeah.
I guess, North, South, East Asian type of thing, and that's cool. That's nice. So are you just a dancer, or you do other stuff as well?
Oh, so until 2 weeks ago, I was a full-time front-end developer.
Oh my
I go with,
God.
like software developer, but I mainly did front-end for the job. I've been working as a front-end developer for like almost 5 years.
So you were a front-end developer.
Yes.
That's so cool. So you're a dancer, and then you're front-end developer.
Yeah.
That's
So-
like That's cool. I like it.
Thank you. I know that you do a lot of tech stuff yourself as well. So
Yeah, I do tech stuff. I work in a startup tech industry. I run a business in my country as well, and obviously a social media business. But I post a lot about that actually, and like people that follow my social media frequently, they will see that I do that. But like when I look at your social media, obviously you're looking at a model, so you're not really thinking that she knows like programming languages. Like you would never imagine, oh, this girl knows JavaScript or something. But it's very impressive. So you don't work. You said 2 weeks ago, but you don't work with it anymore.
yeah, the honest question, the honest answer of how I exit that job is I got laid off. I got made redundant.
Right.
But I honestly saw that coming because my previous company was also a startup. And during my 2 years of employment there, I already witnessed like 3 to 4 redundancies. So I always knew that eventually it's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Because the team is just shrinking smaller and smaller. So yeah, and so they made me redundant. But it was a relief for me because I was thinking about quitting for a really long time. 9 to 5 job somehow just kind of kills a lot of my mental energy and creativity.
Yeah.
So I always thought about doing freelancing at least for a while just to have a little bit of flexibility and freedom.
Yes.
And freedom is the most important thing to me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to be pinned down to a desk for the majority of the daytime.
Yes.
So honestly, being made redundant was a relief to me.
It was a relief.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. And then being redundant, but like that's the industry right now, right? Like
Yes.
things are changing really fast. I was thinking about this the other day, even like me that I come from working from market agencies and stuff, you know. I was actually a civil engineer, but this is a different story.
Wow.
But there's so many things that AI can do now, and it's just getting like, for example, now people don't really, because you're talking about software development, right? Front end development, but like what I can see nowadays, you don't need to hire a junior programmer anymore. You know, you can. I'm sure you heard about it. GitHub Copilot. You know, there's a bunch of things as well. There is this Do It thing that Google is developing that is gonna be like a complete. It's not gonna be a junior programmer. It's gonna be like a complete thing, like a whole thing. You know, and it's gonna be able to develop a bunch of things. So I feel like the way things are going, companies are getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And it's the time that people that wants to be in the industry, they really need to learn about AI and learn about like the assistance that AI can give to people, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So now what is your main thing now in your life at the moment? Like,
my main thing. So I think I'm taking like a short break. I don't want to be on break for too long because otherwise I'll get lazy.
Yeah.
So I'm taking like a 2 to 3 weeks break just to do my thing. And after that, I think, well, I'm also just like constantly modeling. So I take,
Right.
I
did see that.
Yeah, I do some paid shoots for different photographers whenever they have like a creative idea that they want to do and look for someone, and yeah, so that's like my small part of income, but after the break, I think I really want to dive into AI integrated jobs just to see what kind of like freelancing jobs I can land.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like AI, I understand people are overwhelmed by it, but I love it.
It's cool, right?
I really love because I think, okay, in my uni, I study. I came to Australia for a master degree in computer science, and I specialized in artificial intelligence, so AI. And at the time, AI was nowhere near what it is now.
Yeah.
It was very, very behind. I think the reason is computational power at the time was just not catching up. Like the math was there, the algorithm was there, the theory was there, but the computational power was not there. So for a long time, I really didn't think AI was going to take up like how it is now. But suddenly, 2 years ago, or like just beginning of since last year, because of NVIDIA or whatever, those chips, and AI just like, and ChatGPT came out, and they just blew my mind of how realistic they talk like.
Yeah.
Like ChatGPT, have you played with ChatGPT?
Yes. I've done a lot of stuff with ChatGPT. It's crazy.
Yes, it's crazy. Have you tried the audio chat with ChatGPT?
Yes, I did. It's insane.
How do you, yeah, it's
insane.
It sounds like, they sound like a friend.
Yes.
They sound like a real.
It even does like the thinking. Mm-hmm. They're like they say
a bit of yeah, cool, interesting, good question. I was mind blown. That's so meta, because for a long time I thought machine text speech is like Siri, like, hey.
Yeah, Siri is pretty bad, to be honest.
Pretty bad.
I was trying to add like events to my Apple Watch the other day, and you have to say so many times, and I had to delete the event so many times. I was like, I might just like do it manually, because
exactly.
it keeps going back and forth. It's not very good.
Never used Siri.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT really blew my mind, and as many people complain about how it's gonna take away a lot of jobs, I think they're a great assistant.
Yeah.
They're going to be great at assisting some of the boring, very low level, repetitive jobs. And we should just embrace that. We should just catch up and embrace that.
Yeah.
Think of it as friends rather than enemies. That's my take. That's my take.
Yes, no, definitely. Are you aware about all the LLM models, like all the AI learning models? Because obviously ChatGPT is open AI, right? But there's a bunch of models coming up, like, because obviously AI, open AI endorse and promotes and leads, runs ChatGPT, but training AI is not that hard. Like if you really learn the basics, it's not that hard. And a lot of people, because you mentioned that, a lot of people, what they're doing now, they're creating like apps that, and basically their idea is like, I'm just gonna API this to ChatGPT, and that's gonna be my app. But obviously, OpenAI tokenize it, so you have tokens, and it's not expensive. But it's just like if they shut the door one day for the API, your whole app is gone, right? But one thing that I've been studying lately is like the other possibilities for us to train AI and not rely on API from OpenAI, because there's different companies developing different AI learning sources and big datas, and I think that's quite interesting too, because I did play a lot with ChatGPT, and I think I played too much to the point that I'm like, I gotta chase something else. Yeah. Even train my own or rely on other sources, because I see this growing really fast. I feel like in the next year, we're gonna grow, we're gonna evolve what we evolved in the last 10 years. And that is just gonna, maybe like in the 10 next years, we're gonna evolve the last 100 years. And then in the 1 year after, it's gonna be the last 10 years, because this is just gonna grow exponential. The way that's evolving, it's super fast,
I agree.
And obviously a lot of people are gonna lose their jobs, but I feel like whoever update themselves and don't stop studying and evolve, they are gonna catch up. Because the other thing with AI is also like, for example, an iPhone, right? An iPhone will never be better than a camera. And the reason why that is never gonna happen is because at the same pace the iPhone is evolving in the camera, their camera is also evolving. They're creating better sensors, they're creating better lenses, right? So they keep creating better processors for cameras specifically. And you just look at cinema, like now we have IMAX, which is like unbelievable. So, and you have that massive camera that if you type on YouTube and you hear an IMAX cinema camera working, it's like a trade, like it's like a machine in construction site. It's so loud, you know, that is gonna evolve too. So like it's a thing. So I take the same way for AI, right? AI is gonna evolve, but we can evolve too. And I believe we can evolve in a faster pace because we are able to control AI. Without us, AI do not exist. It always will have to be someone behind the scenes, right? Unless we get to a point that AI is thinking by themselves and doing everything by themselves, but then that's gonna be the end of the world.
Do you like sci-fi movies?
Yes, I love sci-fi movies.
Have you watched a movie called Ex Machina?
Yeah, that's
You have? I was
the Ex Machina.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah. That's the Ex Machina. They say that's the singularity, right?
Yeah.
When the AI is thinking by itself, we reach the singularity, and then humans are not going to be necessary anymore, and that's scary.
What are your other favorite sci-fi movies?
My favorite sci-fi movie in my life is Matrix. The Matrix. Yeah, I quite like the Matrix because it's not only like the story behind the sci-fi and it's cool, like the Zion City and the machines and how they became rebels and how humans were also like mistreating the machines and everything ended up as ended up, right? But the most fascinating thing for me about the Matrix is like the philosophy behind it. You know, and that was replicated in so many things in our society. We always have this guy on the internet, he's the red pill. Everybody talks about the red pill. It's something that was popularized by the Matrix, you know, because we now have that discussion of what is reality and what is not reality, and we live in a simulation and that type of thing. But that can apply to so many things. Like even if you think about the government, for example. We live in an environment that it's nothing like the people that actually make the decisions in the world live. So there are very powerful people in the world making the big decisions for everyone, for all of us, and they control the world. Not really, but they kind of like make big decisions that impact a lot of people. So it's like we're living in a matrix. No matter what you do here, something bigger than you externally will decide certain way, and that will impact you, and that will take your life to another way, to another track, no matter what you do.
Do you find it depressive when thinking about that?
I don't find it depressive. I usually in my past I used to care a lot about politics. Like now, I don't know if you've heard, the top trend on Twitter is Elon Musk with Brazil. There's a lot going on that I won't, it's not even worth going into it, but like it's a big thing happening between Elon Musk and Brazil Supreme Court. And my vision nowadays, I don't care about politics anymore. Politics. I don't care about that anymore. Nowadays, I want to focus on myself, my family, and the things around me that I can control and impact. I don't focus on things that I cannot impact. Like, even if I vote for someone, that is not really going to change anything. That's how I think. I don't think my vote can change anything. I think I can change my life and focus on my own stuff. But you just look at politicians and politics and the families that are there. They all have the same surname, which means they are going through generations, the same people in power. So no matter really what I do, I just leave it aside and focus on myself.
That's very wise of you.
What do you think? What is your opinion about it?
You mean
are you like are you involved in politicians?
I am really similar on the similar page with you, as in like I come from China. I came from China, but I came here relatively young. So I never got involved in any CCP, I never got involved in any of the political stuff. But still, when I came here, it was still quite a big shock to me that how much political freedom or speech freedom that people have. Yeah. But so I guess I went through a phase of just cultural shock and political shock. But now I'm on a similar page, as in, even though I think that even though Australia, I think is a great country, in already enough freedom for everyone, but it's still not enough.
Still not enough.
The bigger power still has way too much power to control, to just flip the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you remember your life in China?
Yeah.
How old were you when you left?
Well, actually also not super young. I came here when I was 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember your life in China?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So how was it? Could you, so you guys don't have Twitter? You guys don't have Facebook?
No.
No Instagram?
Well, actually, growing up, they did exist in China for a brief time.
And then
I
they're
remember
gone.
using Facebook and YouTube.
Right.
But then, after a certain point, they just both got blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have WeChat now. They have all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
They don't have TikTok, but they have a version of TikTok.
Yeah. They
Right.
have Chinese TikTok. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So this is the thing. I'm very interested about this.
Yes.
So your family is there.
Yeah.
Your family's in China.
Yeah.
Like, are your parents here?
My parents, they are living in China. I'm the only person here in
Right,
Australia.
So do you think what you say here can impact your family?
What I say here,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't?
We chat over WeChat about just daily life. I actually don't have that deep conversation with my parents because, generational gap. I just, at some point, I just don't think that they truly understand me. So
Right. I got you. That's fascinating.
do you feel the same way, or do you talk really deeply with your parents about everything?
Well, it's just my dad. My mom passed when I was 13.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
I'm so sorry.
unfortunate, but it's life, right?
Yeah.
But I grew up with my dad, and I also don't agree with a bunch of things that happen in my country. I love Brazil. I don't agree with a bunch of things that happen there, though. And I grew up with my dad telling me Brazil will never change. Politicians are this, and that. You gotta move abroad.
Yeah.
Life is better over there. So that's how I grew up, right? My dad used to watch the news and complain a lot at home. And I always was like, this thing just keeps getting worse. And it doesn't look like anyone is, at least anyone notable is not going to make this any better. And so I grew up, always wanted to live abroad.
Yeah.
Like in a better country. Not because I wanted to be it's just I wanted to have a decent life. And when you're born in Brazil, the way you're born, the odds are really low for you to get somewhere, So you gotta literally escape the matrix type of thing, because but there's a lot of opportunities in Brazil as well. Brazil is a great country. It's not a subdeveloped country, but I wouldn't call it first world country. There's a lot to grow, and there's a lot of spaces and opportunities to explore. But I just didn't want to stick around and wait for it. I wanted a better life, and I also wanted to see the world. So it's a bunch of things. It's not just Brazil. I also wanted to see the world. So I do have deep politics conversations with my dad, just because I grew up with him talking about that. However, there are some generation impacts as well in certain topics that I try to not to explore. To be very honest with you, I used to argue a lot with my dad, but as times goes by, I want to talk to him. I want to like feel like I'm his son and he's my father.
Yeah.
And I just avoid any type of arguments. Whenever he says something, I'm like, you're right. That's it, you know, and I just want to have a great time with my dad.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I do nowadays.
That's similar to what I do because like actually it's fun. Like so during COVID, I went through a breakup, but I only told my parents that I'm single. Well, I was single at the time. I only told my parents that I became single again 1 year after the breakup because I just didn't see how they're gonna support me mentally because the only thing like they just gonna worry so much and then I need to like comfort them, which
That's so weird. That's so funny.
I know. So even like, and then I found my current boyfriend, and also I only told them like about 6 months after I met him.
Right.
Because
right.
I wanted to wait for the relationship to be stable, so that I didn't need to like give them the roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just always delay the bad news.
Yes.
To
yes.
parents. Yeah.
Well, you also don't want to make your parents like worried, right? That has happened to me many times when I was living in Germany, England, and US, and even here because I moved here in 2017, but then I went abroad again to another country. But there were moments where I was like, I'm just not going to tell him because this is the thing also. I need to help in Brazil financially. So like I feel like my dad, although he couldn't support me financially so I could get where I go, he still did everything he could for me. And now I feel like I have to do everything I can for them. So I don't want to throw any problems. I just want to solve their problems. That's it.
You're a good son, and I understand that. And I think you're really cool because I think I understand the exact phase as like I also went through like avoiding them, and then like a few months ago I went back to China for a holiday, and I after meeting them again after 4 years of quarantine. Not 4 years of quarantine, but 4 years of not being able to fly outside of Australia because of quarantine. After 4 years of not seeing them, I just felt, they're trying their best for me. Like I should just like love.
Yeah.
Yeah, love. It doesn't matter.
Nothing
really matters.
Nothing really matters. You know, I feel like we're very similar in that, like, because like I said, I lived in 5 countries, traveled over 35, always moving fast. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get this. I want to get that. And then I went a whole year just texting and sending audios to my dad.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, Dad, I'm going to video call you. He video calls me. And I was like in shock because my dad was so old.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
oh, no.
He's changing so fast.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
And he's your only parent now.
And he's my only parent
and that
now.
feels different, yes.
Yes. So that day, that really cut me. And then I was like, no, I'm going to Brazil. That's when I went to Brazil. But it's still a long time because now we had the COVID and I couldn't go. So I'll probably be there in 2 months. And I'm planning to stay for like 6 months next time I go. Family is important. This is the thing. When you ask me about politician and stuff, I don't know your religion. I don't have a religion, but like I really like the Bible as a book. I feel like even if you're not religion, even if you don't believe whatever happened, the Bible is a historical book because it's the only registration we have from the Bronze Age. I don't know if you know that because humans, we have the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and then there was a massive gap where Elon Musk actually talks about this with Joe Rogan. That is a moment of humanity. We don't have writing. We don't have anything. It looks like a catastrophe went through or a big disease and killed everybody. And that's where we have a gap in an Egyptian civilization history as well, registrations that we found, because at that moment in history between the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, we don't have anything. And the Bible does. The Bible, the roles that they captured to write the Bible, there's a bunch of things about like the Judah is Israel, the king of Israel. And there's like this oldest person we can register as the oldest person that we had something about then. I think it was the king of Israel, the third one, not a famous one, not a popular one in the Bible. Not King David or anything. So I see the Bible as a very important registration for humanity because we don't have many. We have written in the walls from the Egyptians and other civilizations, but we don't have something that we can, and obviously the Bible originated there's many important religions in the world, but the Bible did originated some really important religions in the world, which is Judaism and Christianism, and there's characters from the Bible that show up in the Islamic Bible, which of the Quran. So there's like personas, like there's Jesus in the Quran. The way they see Jesus completely, it's a bit different, but yeah. So I even if you don't believe religion, I feel like the Bible as a historical book, it's very important. But not only that, I feel like the Bible, the fact that the New Testament was written in Greek, what is good in Greek, the Greek education, if you really study about it, it's based on values and what is right or wrong. And it's very philosophical and very rational. Yeah. And it basically, the way it appears to me, I might be wrong because I'm not an historian. I'm very amateur in that. I like to read about that though. But the way they used to educate people in schools and everything, it's very based on rationality and also doing good for people. So there's a lot in the Bible, a lot of like philosophical discussions in the Bible that is a lot about doing good for people, right? So because I grew up religious, although nowadays I'm not, but I'm still an admirer of the Bible as a book, I feel like a lot of those values stuck with me. And going back to politician, that's why like I don't care too much about what is going on, because I feel like I personally feel like we are enough to evolve and reproduce. That's my sole opinion, right? And there's a lot of things that are gonna happen, and really, like, you can't control too much here. And the only thing you can do, like, you have your family. Like, how good is family, Family is so good for you. Like, your friends, when you see your friends, the love that you get. Like, AI will never give you that, you know?
No.
So it's a very interesting discussion.
Yeah. And also AI, even though AI these days can, like, even write music, you know what they can't do? They can't play live music. They can't really pick up a violin and play it perfectly. Well, even if they play it perfectly, like, what's the point? People go to live music concert to see human achieve great things.
Yes.
Like, even if it's imperfect.
Yes.
Even if some violinist play it imperfectly, that's still great.
Yes.
What's the point of going to a concert and see AI executing perfectly?
Yes.
Of something.
That's it. Like, why people go see Beyonce? Not because she's like Beyonce. It's because like she's the representation for strong women that were highly successful.
We don't need them to be perfect.
Yes.
We want to see imperfection in almost perfect people.
It's the same. It goes the same way for Kanye West. Apparently, he's like the first black billionaire. He's the richest. No. He's the richest black man in history, right? And a lot of people admire him for that. And a lot of it's not even only about his music anymore. It's about his journey. It represents a lot for people that identify themselves with him. For example, if you go like Elvis Presley, like a lot of people would identify with him because he was a guy that went against the trend at his point, and was highly successful. So like, there's a lot of things that go into going to a concert, endorsing a musician.
Well,
it's not only the music, because the music, to be honest with you, if you go and you get an album, for example, you get a Justin Bieber album, most of the songs he didn't write the songs, he didn't compose, he didn't even participate on the sampling of that song. He just gave his voice to it. So it's just a voice at this point, you know. Also, there's highly talented people. Obviously, he's so talented as well. His voice is amazing. Like his performance as a dancer, but
I love her.
Yeah. So like it's like you said, it's a lot of like what you get from these people.
We want to see how far humanity can go. We want to see how imperfect humans like us, how far we can go. We want to see that elevated version of ourselves in an idol, which doesn't need to be perfect.
Okay, great. So you just going back to your journey, right? So you came when you were like 21, and then you studied like computer science, a master degree. So what can you tell me about, like, because I would like to compare, because I also came, I didn't came for a master degree. I came in a different scenario. I can explain you later. But what was your thing? Like, you came on a temporary visa?
I came on a student visa.
Student visa.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that, how did you manage to stay in Australia?
I went through, I think lots of immigrants will know, it's called 189 subclass. It's called
It's the
skilled
graduate.
independent.
Skilled independent?
Yeah, skilled independent visa.
Oh, so you don't need a sponsorship from the state?
I could have, but it was so hard for me and it was so competitive. Because when I tried to migrate into Australia, I think the sponsorship from company was just so highly competitive. So I went through the harder but more reliable way, which is getting all the points.
Yeah.
The points system.
Yeah, that's the one that I went through as well. And you have to match the points, and there's a point. The points are different for each profession.
Yes.
So like.
So you went through the same subclass.
Yes.
189. Yeah.
But the thing is, you still, it's like this, right? So you have the sponsorship from the business, and we didn't go through that one. We went through a sponsorship for the state, because you might not remember now, when you go through that visa, you have to choose a state. So that state,
is it 190? Probably.
Yeah. Any graduate one, you have to be sponsored by the state. I might be wrong, but at least as far as I know, any graduate visa in Australia, for you to stay as a permanent resident, you need to get the state. So you choose the state. That's why, like, now you understand. That's why when you reach a score, so let's say you reach, I have 90 or I have 75, you know, for civil engineering, when I did was like 80. You know, it was pretty good. Other professions, like some were like 100, right? But then with your score, if you go look around, like in Queensland, your score will be worth more because the cut is less.
I remember
the
that.
threshold is less.
Yeah.
So, for example,
we both chose the hard way. And
yeah. And in New South Wales, which is like the highest school.
Yeah.
But
it's a great state.
but then if you go to Tasmania, for example, it's gonna be like 60 or 50 or something. You know.
Yeah.
So that's how it happens. Nice. And how long was it from your like student visa to the permanent residency? How many years was that?
Probably 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Because
to a permanent resident?
Because it happened, I usually don't look back and think about how hard it was, but because as soon as I achieved it, I just put it behind.
Yeah, me too.
I remember after I graduated from my master degree, I spent like a whole year doing the professional year stuff to get the 5 points.
Yes.
And during that professional year, I also got my PTE, which is equivalent to IELTS.
I got the PTE too.
Yeah. I was lucky, and I did that also during the first year after I graduated. And I think in the same year, I also got myself a junior developer job. And after working there for a year, I got another 5 points.
Right.
And then I also got the NATI done.
NATI.
So maybe less than 2 years after I graduated. And if you add the student visa, which is like 2 years, I think maybe 3 to 4 years
Right.
for me to get permanent residency.
Right. Nice. Yeah, with me was that too.
Yeah.
Although I didn't go through the student visa because I come from this university in Brazil, which at the time was the best university in the country. And anyone that got a engineering degree from that, Australian government said, just come to Australia, you get a temporary, a graduate visa, and then you can apply for a permanent residency after. Yeah. So that was pretty good. That they recognize our diploma, or degree.
It's
right?
great. You saved a lot of money because I think Australian unis are a little bit of a scam.
They are.
So expensive and so little.
I always tell people it's. I was definitely. I think I was lucky. I worked hard also because to be able to get to that university in Brazil is really hard. Like you literally like competing with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, right? But then I went through that, and then I really dedicated to it. Like I got a full scholarship to study in London, so I studied in London.
Wow.
Because that university opened so many doors for me, including Australia.
Can you tell me more about London? Because I have a friend. She's also one of the closest friends. She's moving to London soon.
Oh, is she?
Because she's kind of tired of Sydney. That's what she said. She's
Right.
tired of Sydney and she's thinking about moving to London. And I just want to ask for her, how is London compared to Sydney?
So when somebody asks me about that, I always say it's a very unfair comparison, right? Because Sydney has an amazing weather, right?
Yeah.
It's a place for like, I personally don't like the beach much, but I go to the beach. But I myself don't like it that much. But the weather in London can be really tough. Like, because when you look at the Atlantic Ocean, and then you have all those strong winds from the Atlantic Ocean, and then it hits Ireland first, and then which is the next country, United Kingdom. So it's a lot of like cold wind coming, and it rains, and it's cloudy and it's dark sometimes, most of the time. So it can be very windy, very cold, not cold freezing to the point that it snow. It does snow sometimes, but not much. But it's a cold that is annoying. Like I don't like to be in the rain. And you go through days that it's going to rain for like 2 weeks straight.
Wow.
And it's not that strong tropical rain. Similar to what we have in Australia. It's just a rain that doesn't stop. It's just like steady and, and it doesn't change much. But yeah, so I feel like Sydney, it's a worldwide city. When I was there, I met so many good people, amazing people, and I had so many good opportunities. You really feel like you're in the first world. In Sydney too, don't get me wrong, but like you feel like, wow, like everything, like you have the royal family there, and then you have all those old buildings. It's so much gold, so much wealth, so much history. You have all those billionaires that buy in there. And for example, there's a place that I used to love in London, which is Bank, which is very similar to what? It's very similar to like New York, right? It's very similar to like walking in front of like you're like walking in front of the financial industry, leading financial industry, the stock market, the Wall Street. It's very similar to that.
How do you spell it? It's not BANK, right?
Yeah,
it
Bank.
is.
Yeah, it's called it's called Bank because the Royal Bank is there. All the biggest banks are there.
Oh, okay.
But then I used to study at the University of East London, which is like East London as the name says, right? And there they've developed a new bank, which is called Canary Wharf. And it's a place that you can see from everywhere in London. Everywhere in London, you look, it's like really, really tall. the buildings there. It's amazing. It's insane. It's like a futuristic city.
Yeah.
The shopping mall, it's like the Dubai mall. It's like you have this underground shopping mall with all the luxury stuff, and you have a huge, one of the biggest train stations in London, Canary Wharf.
Oh.
It's really, really cool. Like I've never seen such a long escalator. Like you're literally on an escalator,
For
and
5
it's like
minutes.
you're going to the sky.
To
like
the
it's
heaven.
yeah, to the heavens.
Wow.
It's really nice, and it was close to my university, so I used to go there all the time, like for lunch or for chilling out, just sitting there. London is an amazing city. Like I feel like because I was young, so it was definitely the right city for me. Plus, one thing that your friend needs to understand, it's not the city, it's the people.
Tell me more about it.
It's never gonna be the city, no matter what city you live. Like, it's like I said, like a lot of people follow me because they want to live abroad, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of them thinking, oh, I want to live at this place because it's a better place. But when you're there, it doesn't come down to the place. It comes down to the people you surround yourself with. And I'll tell you why. When I went to London, I had this big, amazing group of friends, and we all young at uni, traveling together. We used to travel together, backpacking through Europe together, and you in that thing, and like, oh my God, I'm young.
Yeah.
I got money to travel. I got the opportunity to do all these things, right? And then it's over. Then you're back home. You finish your uni. It's time to go. Okay, good. I go back to London by myself, different story.
Where are they? Those friends?
They're living their lives. They are like, became engineers, architects, lawyers, doctors. We're all like uni students.
Okay.
You know, they're just like getting ahead with their lives. And now I'm back there by myself. And it's a completely different story because the image that I had from London was this thing, but now it's not this thing anymore because the people are not there anymore. Like the people that were there with me. So it gets me to conclude that no matter where you live, like if you got the right people next to you, the right people, you feel great. But like if you don't have the right people, you can be in a really amazing place. You're going to complain about it. You're going to find things to complain because like I said, nothing replaces people.
That's true.
You
There's
know?
also like one thing I'm curious because I've been hearing it. You know, like people on TikTok, for example, joke about dating in 2024 is like, you're the most amazing woman that I've seen. You're so pretty, you're perfect, you're so funny, you're so smart, but I want to keep looking. And so people somehow joke about how fast-paced dating culture is these days. And what I heard, I don't know if it's right or wrong, I just heard it from somewhere, dating culture or like people in the UK are like compared to Aussie, they're even more sexually liberated. As in they're more like open, but not super into settling into a serious relationship. Is that true? Because that's what I'm curious. I've never been there, but that's like the thing that I heard. Like people there are more liberated.
Yeah, let me tell you about this. I lived in Miami, Berlin, London, Sydney. I stayed a little bit in Buenos Aires, which is a big city, one of the biggest in South America as well. I lived in Sao Paulo, which is probably the biggest city in South America, which is the main Brazilian city, financially at least. So I lived in big cities. I know New York, and they even say New York, it's like the hardest. New York and LA more because there's a lot of people with money there, but like New York especially, it's the hardest place to date and settle because you have all these people running against time to achieve something, and they just want to date. They just want a quick fix and they go, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a UK thing. I feel like it's a big city thing. I think it's more like a London thing. right?
So you think London is like that?
I think London is like that. So is New York. So is Berlin.
But
So
Sydney is also a big city, right?
yeah, but like I feel like Australia, it's like it's very different dynamics. Like you just look at the nightlife, right? Australia, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., everybody's going
Quiet.
home,
Yeah.
right? But like 1 a.m., like you go get a pub crawl in Piccadilly Circles in London, like it's just starting. Things are just kicking in, you know? You did your pre-drinks and you're just starting. Like you go to a pub crawl in Barcelona, in Barceloneta, things are just kicking in. It's a different dynamics, you know? The nightlife plays differently in these places. And the nightlife has much to do with dating, you know, the dating game, etc. But I think it also like it's a very I would say this is a thing that you will find in big cities, but I also think it's a now thing as well because now before it goes for both sides. So before a man to see women, they either had to go to prohibit websites.
Oh, yeah.
or they should go out, otherwise they wouldn't see women, right?
But now with apps
Now with apps, like you have Bumble, Tinder, and Instagram is like Tinder, right? Guys will slide in your DMs and, you know. So you have all, like for a man that is single, you have all these options there, right?
Yeah.
For a woman too, like a woman that is like a girl that used to be pretty in a small city, you know, she can post pictures on Instagram and some rich guy in LA will be like, I like you, I'll fly you in, you know, buy your flight ticket and you just go, you know, from a very tiny city in the country, in the north of Germany, you know, you can just like get a message from a dude in Dubai and like, come here, we'll go on a date. Next day you're that, you know? So I feel like it's a very now thing. Like, it's just like, it's hard for nowadays for people to settle down. Like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, have you been on dating apps before?
Yes, I have. Actually, that's how I met my current partner. And the thing is about sliding into Instagram, I also experience it quite a lot, but I don't respond to any of them if I see the intention is sus.
Yeah.
There are guys that ask me to be their sugar babies on
Really?
Instagram. And also there are also like guys who, well, to be fair, you're the only person that reached out to me asking for a content collaboration that is not creepy. Because there are other guys that told them, I want to do a YouTube collaboration with you, and I have this channel, I got so many followers. And at first I said, yeah, sure, send me your channel and we talk about it. And then they started asking weird questions and asked me to like send them selfies or whatever. So yeah. So you're the first guy that is
Wow, that's
not creepy and actually super nice.
That's very creepy.
Yeah.
So did you get to see that channel?
Well, I saw the channel, and the channel is mostly about games, which is at the time, now when I think about it, it was already weird, because if you saw my profile on Instagram, you would never think that I game, even though I actually do. But I don't know why. At the time, I just didn't see how a guy whose channels is all about gaming would want to do a content with me. But then very soon he started asking like, send selfie.
That's so weird. So like they message or got a channel and
yeah, and multiple times, not just one or two. Yeah, a lot of good job opportunities are disguised, are actually just like creepy dudes in disguise. Yeah. So I'm glad that I met you.
That's so no, that's fine. That's fine. You can show. I'm just like making it better for you. That's so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I can't believe people. Right. So this is so weird.
Yeah, I actually like to a point that I feel bad for legit people like you. And also it happens in modeling industry as well. A lot of legit photographers are so annoyed and disgusted by these people that contaminate the industry, contaminate their reputation. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Because even like, I never really had a problem collabing with someone. I always, I was always very clear.
Yeah.
You know, because like before my videos used to be really, really, really crazy, right? Because I was a YouTuber, so it's a different dynamics.
Yeah.
I still do YouTube, but nowadays it's completely different. But it was a different dynamics. But I used to be completely honest and fair from the bat. Like, this is what I need. This is what I'm gonna be doing. If you're not happy with that, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good. Like, we can even meet each other if you wanna, like, tips for your social media, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is what I need at the moment. I'm making it clear so you know. But if that's not your thing, it's fine. I was always very clear. I never really. I'm very direct and objective with my words.
That's the
I
right
try to be that way in everything. It's just like you don't want to be misleading, and people will interpret it in a different way. So, wow. And what was your experience with Tinder?
I was on Tinder briefly, like a few years ago, and then I got off it because I think at the time Tinder became like a hookup app, and then because of my friend's recommendation, I got on Hinge. That's how I met my current boyfriend.
Is Hinge better?
That's what I think that's the reputation. Hinge. Well, the way they advertise themselves is Hinge is designed to be deleted. Deleting dating app means that you're serious.
Yes.
And I think I'm just really lucky because my boyfriend was also not looking for hookup, was also looking for serious relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it contributes to how much Hinge contributed to it. I think I'm just lucky that I met someone who was on the same page. And it was very smooth with him the whole time. Yeah.
Nice. So, I agree. I feel like Tinder is definitely not an app that they want you to delete it. And they actually, I feel like they have initiatives to keep low quality people going.
Yeah.
So you keep meeting these toxic people, and it just keeps going. I think it's been a while. It's like that. I don't think it was like that. Maybe like 5 years ago was a bit better.
Yeah.
But like from what I've heard people talking about it, it's changing a lot. And nice. And then what is your when you date someone? When you were dating, you're obviously looking for a man, right? You were looking for someone to have a decent.
I'm not looking for women.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm predominantly straight. Yeah.
You're predominantly straight, right? Have you been with women before?
No, I haven't. But I think I'm somewhat attracted to them. But I've never been with any women.
Fair. Well, okay. So, what was because you're looking for someone to have an honest relationship with, a man, and what was the things that you would look for if you wanted a man to settle?
I think. Well, I always think about things step by step. Like when I date. I don't think about marriage just yet. Like unless it's been like so long. So when I was on Hinge, when I was looking for men to date, I just thought about just like having a relationship rather than marriage.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing for me is moral, their ethics, like how much they respect people, how much they respect different gender, different races, different people with different occupations. If they respect all kinds of people, that's a major green flag to me. And also also like on the contrary, if they disrespect certain gender, certain race, certain people with certain jobs, that's a no for me.
Right.
So for me, moral is like number one, and then everything else I think is just a bonus. Funny, I like funny guys. I like smart guys because you can't obviously physical attraction is very important.
Yeah.
So, but I think mental attraction and physical attraction are equally important. And I think as you grow older, mental attraction is even more important than physical attraction because people age.
Yes.
People get
That's
sick
true.
of seeing each other's face.
That
But
is
mental
true.
attraction is so gonna be permanent.
Yeah.
So I like smart, funny guys, but most importantly, like they need to be kind.
Right, right. And let's say, because you said about what you said about morals, let's like imagine like a first date. You probably not have a chance to look for the morals, to see the morals happening, right? So you're just there in a restaurant with someone, and
Yeah.
I imagine that was the first date, or for most people it's the first date. And then what are the things that you look for in the first date, like the key things that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question because moral, you really need to spend quite a long time to figure that out because most people don't expose their true selves within the first few dates. So in the very first date, I think physical attraction and how smooth the conversation is, well, you can still see a little bit of moral when you are out in a public setting. For example, how they treat the waitress, how they treat waitress sometimes can be a good indicator. But yeah, usually first date, I think if the conversation goes like really like just like funny, we genuinely make each other laugh, not just like the fake laugh like if we can genuinely, authentically make each other laugh, that's a really
Good sign.
Good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So, these are the things that you look for in the first date. Okay, who paid the bill?
I'm not all about guys should pay the bill. Like between me and my partner, I think it has always been quite equal. Because this is like a weird thing. For some reason, maybe it's wrong, but for some reason, I'm afraid that if I let my partner pays too much for me, I will need to I will need to compromise in other ways. So that's why I want to.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like I need to
That's a good point.
because like for example, if I like imagine I'm single, if I go out and my partner brings me to a really fancy restaurant, does it mean I need to do certain things for him? Right? Like I don't want to give that power.
That's very smart from you. Never thought about that in that sense.
Well, but then a lot of girls can argue like that's how girls should be treated. But for me, it's not really that case. I'd like to just like stay equal for as long as we can.
Do you think you guys are definitely equal? Do you think men and women are equal?
I think in terms of intellectual, yes, but physically, obviously no.
Intellectual. And when you say intellectually speaking,
Yeah.
when you say that, you obviously are saying like they can both be smart, right?
Yeah.
Right. But obviously it will be dependent on each person if they're smart or not.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Individually. But like, don't you think if you make less money and he makes more money, don't you think he could buy courtesy from good
Yeah.
pay so you don't spend your money because he's making more money?
Yeah, I was in relationships where I was the one that earned less money than my partner. But the way I saw it is that I still contribute as much as I could just so that, because I think a lot of married couples, they don't necessarily earn similar level of money. For example, maybe the husband contributes like 60% and the wife contributes 40%. And if that's proportional to their capacity, I think that's still a fair split.
Right.
So I think, yeah, I was, right now, me and my partner, we are financially, we're pretty equal. But in the past, when I was the smaller, the little guy, I think I still always try to contribute a fair part.
Right.
Well,
Just
that's what I would do, but maybe girls will want to be treated differently. I can't speak for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say if you go on a random date, let's move back to the old times, right? If you go on a date today, will you expect this guy pays or will you go 50-50? You're going on a date for the first time with this person.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for him to pay?
A lot of the times, I think a lot of the times the guy will initiate paying the bill, and I will offer, genuinely, I will offer to pay 50. And from my experience, a lot of the guys say, no, you don't need to, it's on me. And then I will always try to buy him a drink or like movie ticket. So that's my style. That's
Okay.
my pattern. I will offer to pay 50 unless they, I will offer to pay 50% of the bill. But most of the time they refuse. They are generous. They say it's on me. And I will still want to like contribute a little gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me, if I'm choosing my girlfriend,
Yeah.
if I go on a date and she doesn't offer to pay 50, it's gonna be the first and last date.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
because I have heard so like different things, because I thought like dating culture in South America is more leaning towards guys paying the bills and the girls be like sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
like
I
a
heard.
sugar baby.
No, not sugar baby, but like a trophy date.
A trophy date. Well, this is the thing. If I'm choosing my girlfriend,
Yeah.
that possibly gonna turn into something more serious, and
Yeah.
that possibly gonna end up in engagement, getting married, and being the mother of my kids.
Yeah.
So I fast forward to that mentally, and if she doesn't offer to pay 50. It's a no-no for me. I don't want to see that person anymore.
Oh.
It doesn't mean that I will let her pay 50. She won't pay 50. I'll pay everything. But the fact that she's offering, I know, wait a minute,
It's
she will,
equal.
she can, yeah. And then in the next date, if I pay everything, in the next date, I won't say anything. I'll just, and she will pay. Because I've been to that situation before. She will pay the next date.
Yeah.
And that was enough. And then from that, I'm paying everything. Because I want to be able to understand and see if she can, if I'm not around, she can provide too. Because if it's going to be the mother of my kids,
Yeah.
I need to be able to know that she's capable
Yeah.
of things as well.
I'm all for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm just hooking up,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care much.
Oh.
I just pay and whatever.
How much was the most? How much was the most expensive meal that you have paid for a hookup?
Good thing. When I was living in London,
Yeah.
there's this tall building that's called the Chad.
Yeah.
It's the tallest building in Europe. Yeah. I took a woman to a date there one time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's a funny story. She was a Lithuanian woman, and they have a very independent woman, strong culture there.
Yeah.
Because they're very similar to Russian women, to not really Russian, North Europe women. And I remember the first time I met her was at the beginning of my uni in London, and we went on a date and she paid for everything. She was like, because she
Wow.
was doing her master and she was like working already in London.
Wow.
And I was just like a fresher at the university. And she's like, no, you don't pay. And it was a large meal because I eat a lot. So she paid for all the burgers that I ate, like 3 burgers. I got all the extras and dessert and everything. But I was also younger than her. So then, almost a year after, I started my internship as an engineer in London, and then I took her on a date, but that was expensive. Like the Chad is like it's like a building like that. It's a beautiful, massive tower that you can see from anywhere in London, and like I said, it's the tallest building in Europe, and it was very expensive. Like it's a very luxury dining.
That's
Very
sweet
posh,
because
yeah.
you did it as a reciprocation. Because
Yes.
she did it first for you. And
Yes.
I
Yes.
think that's
Yeah, that
the
was
ideal.
nice. Yeah. But I wouldn't say that was the most expensive. I feel like that was the one that I felt the most because I didn't have a lot of money. But like now I take my partner to dates. They are much more expensive than that.
Because you're doing better. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I have more money to spend.
Yeah.
It. Yeah. But it's a funny thing because it's not also, and this is the thing, it's not how much the dinner is, it's how much can you spend.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because at the time I was a student.
Yeah.
I was doing an internship in a good company as an engineer, but I was still a student.
Yeah.
I wasn't really an engineer yet. Yeah, so.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I think I'm all for this kind of relationships, no matter it's dating or marriage.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the kind of like old rich man and the young trophy wife, that kind of marriage. Like, I just don't think it's that right.
This is the thing. I feel like it depends on what you're going for. Like some guys with money,
Yeah.
they are not very confident and they want to cut the bullshit. They want to cut everything. They want to, they want to shortcut everything.
Yeah.
And they are on a date with a pretty woman. They know the woman is there for the money and they know why they're there with the woman,
Yeah.
So they just want what they want and that's it, right? That type of interaction might not be your thing, but it really happens. Like when I lived in Miami, it's a different dynamics.
Ooh.
It's a different mechanics. Like in Miami, if you go on a date with a woman, you're gonna have to spend money,
I didn't know about that, about Miami.
Miami life is different. You're gonna have to spend money. It's really that way.
Really?
Like if you obviously you get to a point that you obviously I can't fully generalize.
Yeah.
Because you will meet someone like an American girl that is like, or even like a South American girl, South American woman that is like legit, like she just wants someone like long term.
Just from your experience.
Yeah. But if you go Miami Beach, Miami Central, and where the things really happen, and you see all these pretty girls, if you want to take a really nice, hot, pretty girl in Miami out, you gotta do that.
It's like playing GTA.
Yes.
Everything is just like straightforward, transactional.
And I honestly think a guy that can spend the money, he wouldn't mind.
That's true.
Because he's just like, he knows what he wants and that's it.
Yeah, also respect that. It's just not for me, I guess.
Yeah, not for you, not for me anymore. And I feel like a lot of like, do you know the red pill movement?
No. Tell me more.
So there's this red pill movement among men.
Yeah.
Men think, no, they don't think they're superior than women, but like a lot of guys that believe in this theory, in this movement, that follow this movement, a lot of influencers, they came up with all this rhetorical saying like, the world is ending, women are getting everything, men are getting nothing. Have you seen these things on TikTok? Like, oh, I should never pay for a girl. Oh, they go on OF, OnlyFans, and they make money with their body, and a man can't do that, blah, 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 all that bullshit, right? So a lot of these guys complain that the man shouldn't pay for a date.
Interesting. They complaining the world is ending because women are earning money on OnlyFans. Yeah. But it's the men that paying for this women on OnlyFans. So
yeah. This is pretty much it. It's pretty much it. So it's from what I see, right? Because I've met highly successful men that are married. And I've met highly successful men that are single.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
And normally, from what I've noticed, a married successful man is very family oriented, obviously, but when he was looking for his woman, he wasn't trying to look for a date or paying for a date or impress or anything. It was more like a deep connection. Some of these guys, for example, I've met this billionaire that owns a team in the US, and his relationship is from school, right? It's a school. They were in school and they start dating. 40 years later, they're still together. They have kids and everything. But the single man that I met, and again, this might not go for everyone, but like the single men that I met, they know exactly what they want, and they can be family oriented as well, but when they go on a date, they don't really mind paying. They are successful, they can spend the money, you know. Like I feel like men that wants a hookup and don't want to pay for a date, it's their fault, you know. They're not making enough money to live the life they want to live. So you know, you gotta evolve a little bit more, you know, and then go for that, you know, if that's what they're looking, you know, for. And these successful single men that I met, they also know this is not a woman to be on a long-term relationship. It's just someone that I can go take her on a nice date, pay for everything, and get what I want, and you know, life goes on.
I see.
You know, so it's just a different game, you know.
Unfortunately, I never have like good experience with like going on dates with rich, successful men. Like, not that I have gone to many. It's just only a couple of times. I think the most recent one was like, just like, I was like having dinner with my friend in a Chinese restaurant, and then a guy just like reached out to me saying that you have like a good body. Can you like model for a shoe company, a shoe business that I'm running? So that's how he approached. And then later on, it kind of changed into like a asking me out for dinner thing. And at the time, I told him that I have a boyfriend, and he said he still wants to be to just like talk more and be a friend and just like potentially talk about the modeling thing for her business. So I went out, and the whole time I feel he talked so much about the shallow girls that he has met in his life, and he talked so low about those women. He said, all those women, they just want to marry me for my money, blah blah blah. So yeah,
That's so funny.
but then so after he said that, I thought, okay, I guess you're like looking for. Well, I'm not trying to be his girlfriend, obviously, because I love my boyfriend. So after he said that, I kind of thought out, okay, you're someone who is looking for a partner who's like not superficial. But then he talked about nothing else other than his money, other than his business. So I was thinking that if you don't want women to only go after your money, you can't just only talk about it. Because he talked about how rich he is a lot. So that's like a weird thing to me. It's like, if you don't want girls to go after your money, maybe you shouldn't talk so much about it.
Yeah. To be very honest with you, based on my experience, so when I was in Dubai, I got to meet a lot of people that inherited money.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I see that is a big difference when you inherit your money and when you build up your wealth by yourself. You know, because a person that inherit their money, that's the only thing they can talk about, because they really didn't construct anything. They didn't build up anything.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying based on my experience, because a guy that build his wealth by himself, he will probably not talk about his wealth. He will talk about the process of building his wealth, which is about the skills and everything and the experiences he had.
Yeah,
so he will be more experienced oriented. In life, and experience oriented, like experienced focus, you know, because just think about it. Someone that got everything given, that's all they're going to talk about. But like, I feel like for you to build wealth, there's a long way. And normally when people start building wealth in sequence, they fall in love with the journey of building something. And that's the best thing for them. It's to go through that journey. So like maybe that was the case. And a lot of people that are rich and got it given or got to be lucky, they lack the social skills as well. So they're not very confident and not confident, not experienced, got it given. So that's the only thing he cares about. So they think that's the only thing you want. And then they don't develop the other sides, the other social skills. They don't take care of themselves. They don't they don't like try to evolve mentally and physically as a man.
Yeah.
So they become less attractive. I think that's the way.
That's a really good perspective for me to know. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That could be the thing. you
It's
tell
still
me.
good to know because
Yeah.
I don't deal with a lot of men like that
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
That's-
be more forgiving.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I noticed like also like with because a man, like let's say superficially speaking, a man is what he produces. A woman is what she looks. So I met super high productive wealth men, and I met supermodels, very pretty girls. The best people here I met would focus on their experiences and the things they learned through life and all the things they like.
Yeah.
The best people here I met, same thing, right? But when I met a girl that was too focused on how pretty she looks, and when I met a man that was too focused on his wealth, the girl, her looks is the only thing she had. The man, his wealth was the only thing he had.
Yeah. There's like a interesting saying in China, on Chinese social media these days. It's like prettiness combined with any other skill is like superpower. But it's important that you have to have something to combine with your prettiness.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't only have prettiness.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Amazing. So what is your, so now you obviously have your partner, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you want to have kids one day?
Yes, I do. Yeah. But
nice.
maybe I still think that there's still so much that I want to do to achieve. So
Yes.
I might wait for a little longer.
Yeah,
But
you should
down
wait.
the line, yes.
Yeah, you should wait. You should live life. You know, it's like me. I'm getting to the point that I'm moving towards having kids. I've done a lot, and I feel like
You've made it.
we can say that, right? Or we cannot say that, but like I've done great things. I've lived good things that I wanted to live, and I feel like life has its stages, right? And then like, because also we're very lucky because we are healthy people and we'll live a long time, right? We have a high.
Don't say that.
Yeah. We'll live a long time. We have high life expectancy,
That's true.
right?
Especially in Australia. Yeah.
Yes, especially in Australia. But like some people are not that lucky. Some people will pass at the 30s, at the 40s, at the 20s, you know.
Yeah.
So I see life very fragile.
I know.
And I feel like I said at the beginning, I feel like the life goal is to evolve and reproduce. And some people don't get to reproduce.
That's true.
Some people don't even get to see the evolution happening, you know, the highest point in that success and revolution, you know.
I'm curious. So this is like a personal question. You don't need to answer. Is there, you know, like for example, in Asian parenting, like parent and children relationship, there's a lot of expectation. For example, Asian parents will expect their children to, for example, be doctor, be lawyer, be engineer. So is there anything, so say that you have a kid now, is there anything that you wish them not to do or have to do?
Honestly, by watching other people's kids,
Yeah.
by watching other parents trying to make it right with their sons and daughters,
Yeah.
by watching people having really bad experience with their children and like their children not becoming what they wanted it to become.
Yeah.
And by watching other kids that didn't really have good parenting,
Yeah.
but succeeded in life,
Yeah.
the only thing that I hope for my children is to be healthy and happy.
That's
Like
true.
I don't expect anything at all. Like at this point, because I've noticed in life, no matter what you do for your kid, no matter, like you can be the best parents, they can still end up in drugs.
That's true. Yeah.
They can still end up doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you want to play a good role as a father or a mother, parents, you want to be good, you want to do good parenting, and you want to be the best you can be for them.
Yeah.
But like I see, like, for example, my mom wanted me to be something. My dad wanted me to be something. I became myself. I became what I wanted to become, which was pretty good. But nothing that, not what my dad wanted and not what my mom wanted. More similar to what they wanted, but my own version of it.
Yeah.
But then when I look people close to me and they didn't become what their parents wanted it to become, and they didn't become what they wanted to become, and it's sad, and it's just like life it's not easy at all. Like, you're competing to yourself, you're competing to external factors, you competing against your whole body. You can develop something inside you that can kill tomorrow. So life is very fragile, so it's very hard to define those rules. And no matter how much you want it, there's no guarantee. The chances are really low that it's going to happen. So if you ask me what I want my kids to become, it's just healthy and happy.
Healthy. That you're ready, man. I think you're ready.
Yeah.
You will be a good parent.
I will be a good father. Huh?
You will. What did they want you to be?
My dad wanted me to be an engineer.
You were though.
I was an engineer.
Yeah.
My mom wanted me to be a bunch of things, but because this is the thing. My dad was more like towards my profession, and my mom was towards the type of person that I am. So she wanted me to be a man of God, like religious, do good for people, etc. And my dad wanted me to be like, you gotta make money, go live abroad, and create a better life for yourself. So that's what my dad wanted me to. But yeah, I became what they both wanted to a certain extent. But it got to a point of my life where I want to make this thing about myself and no one else. So what about you? What was the thing with your parents? Because I know China, they're very like oriented, like your scores at uni, like you got to be smart, you got to be A+, etc. What was that?
Yeah, with study, I always struggle. I still struggle to study something that is not my initial choice, because I have ADHD. So I'm never an academically good student.
Right.
I always have trouble finishing homework, man. So even with my master degree, I think I just barely passed all the courses.
Right.
I think I always just like struggle to keep up their expectation of me going to college, study an engineering degree, and getting an engineering job. Well, software engineering is not really engineering, but similar field.
It is, right? But like computer engineering and stuff. Yeah.
So but the thing I always want to do is about music. I like singing. Singing is the first thing that I like voluntarily picked up as a hobby, as a passion. But I remember growing up, my parents didn't really support my singing passion. There was I sang so much, before my mom found me a singing tutor, I was just like trying to practice singing myself. And I remember my dad just like found that so loud and annoying. But then I think my mom truly saw that I am passionate about it. So she paid a tutor for me. That's when I study, properly learn how to sing.
Yeah.
And then but I think when it comes to, when it was at the point that I needed to choose a degree to study in uni, I thought about learning music, but that was pushed back because music is not going to be stable. But now, after working for a few years as a software developer, I think I still want to do music.
Yes.
I still somehow circulate back to my initial passion.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how they will take it. We'll find out.
Well, I feel like especially because you've already lived what they wanted you to live.
So I can take a break.
I feel like you should make it more about yourself because like you've already achieved so much. You came to Australia, which for many people, like how many people you know that wanted to immigrate to Australia and build a life, and only us know what does that mean.
Yeah,
Only us know what is to go through visas and match score and do proficiency. English exams, PTE, IELTS, TOEFL, like exams that a native Australian will fail for sure. They will fail. Like an American will fail. Anyone that speaks English will fail if they don't study. And we have to study hours of it. And it's not our first language as well. And we struggle and we go through the visas, rank up our scores, get approved on a bridging visa, get a permanent visa. Still like, oh my God, like when I'm gonna be just a normal person living here, like it's a long way to go. And we still need to be grateful because Australia is very receptive of immigrants. Like there's opportunities here, right? It's very attractive. But the thing is, you went through all that, I feel like it's time for you to you deserve what you wanted, know, and it's like I said this to my sister the other day, like, oh, mom wanted that, dad wanted that, but what do I want? That's why when you ask me what do I want my kids to be, before I used to think completely different. No, I want my kids to be a certain way. I want a boy to be a man and do all that, and I can teach him everything. I want my girl to be this pretty woman that is gonna go out and marry like a very successful, wealthy man. And like, it's just like whatever you want. It's just not gonna happen. Like you can be a parent, and especially nowadays where social media influence people so much. I don't think like I think like the influence the parents will have in their children's future, it just keeps declining, and external factors keeps going up.
Do you find it scary?
I find it scary. I feel like it's very scary because like
iPad toddlers, they spend so much time in front of iPad.
Yes. I think it's scary, especially when you're like bringing someone to life, and then you don't really want them. You don't want to watch them going down the wrong path. So it is scary. It is scary. I have nieces, and I was always worried of what they're gonna become. Like, luckily they are healthy and they got their families going now. Some of them got children and they're good. But I was always worried, like what they're going to become, like what is going to happen. And it really breaks your heart if you see someone that you love so much doing the wrong thing or ruining their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's awesome. But, well, I guess you have your stuff going as well. I don't want to hold you back so much. I just want to thank you. That was a nice chat. What do you think?
I think it was an awesome chat. I was told, I can't imagine last time I had such an authentic, all free, this chat with someone who I met for the first time.
That's good. That's good.
Really good. Yeah, I'd like to talk more chat more with you in the
Me
future.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like we vibe each other so good, and we bounce ideas so well, and we think very similar. We think different in some aspects, but there's other aspects that we think similar.
Yeah.
And we are so happy to hear each other.
Yeah.
So this is good. I like it. I hopefully, obviously we'll post the content, but I really hope I can have you back soon.
Thank you. I'd love to be back, and I'd love to introduce my friends to you, because I'm sure that you two will have good energy as
That's
well.
good. That's good. And we can even if you want to have all your friends, we can have up to 4 people.
Round table.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's gonna be
Do
even.
you have that many mics though?
Yeah, I have 2 more.
Ooh.
But if I have 5 mics, I have one in my room on my studio that I don't really like moving, but I can use the worst case scenario, or I can just buy this mic. This mic is not very expensive. It's just like a $100-$200 mic, which is really good. It's a Rode mic. It's pretty good, but does the job. But I don't even think. I think I can have up to 6 people.
Ooh.
But I feel like 4 people, it's ideal.
Ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 people is good. But I prefer this. I prefer one person. Easier editing.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm open. I'm open for bigger conversations.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope that was a good space for you to
Yes.
talk about your stuff and
It
what
felt
you
really
do.
great. It felt really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we didn't focus too much on your career professionally.
No, that's right.
But we spoke about very interesting topics. I feel like that can be helpful for many people. And I'm always sitting here with someone that was born in Australia. And because you were born here and you went through similar stuff that I did, it feels different. Like it feels like I'm talking to someone that is close to my reality.
Of course. Like this is like immigrant excellence. Immigrant excellence.
We can call it that. We can call it that.
Thank you,
awesome.
Akila.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hex.
Thank you so much.
I really want to say your Chinese name though.
He Xin.
Hu Xing.
Yes.
Hu Xing.
Yes.
Ni hao Hu Xing.
Thank you, Akila. How can I say is Akila your Portuguese pronunciation?
It's actually Aquila. So
Aquila.
the stress syllable will be the first one. Aquila.
Aquila.
Yes. Like Dracula.
You
like
know what?
Aquila.
I have a half brother and he's Japanese. Well, he was born in Japan.
Yeah.
Guess what his Japanese name is? Aquila.
Aquila. Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool because like Dragon Ball Z,
Oh.
the anime.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
There's Aquila in.
Akira Toriyama is the guy that wrote this story. Like it's the creator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Akira Toriyama. So Akira, it's a very common name in Japan. But yeah. So over here in Western countries, Akira.
Yeah, you're like my brother now. Yeah.
Nice.
Aquila.
Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys, get to know more about her. So I'm going to get her Instagram handles on the YouTube description and also on Spotify. I will link everything. And yeah, make sure you guys go say hi, be nice, be supportive. Thank you so much for watching to the end. And I see you guys next. Bye-bye.
Hi.
That was so good.
Thank you.